My name is Sojo Alex, and I'm a principal with Envision Strategies. I'm super excited to bring our second year of our Thought Leadership series with some of our friends and clients within the higher education food service industry. So as part of the series, what we do are we're listening to stories and their experiences about various topics that are important and that are out there as part of dining services. So for today, my guest is Kristina Patridge from University of Alabama, and I am going to let her introduce herself and give us a little bit about what she does on a day-to-day basis and a little bit about her dining program as well.
I am Kristina Patridge. You are exactly correct. And I'm at the University of Alabama, and I have been here for about 24 years. I administer the food service contract that we have, and I'm the liaison. I always say that the team does the heavy lifting, and I'm sort of the conduit and the barrier remover and the champion of the team. And so I oversee construction and finances and basically every aspect of the dining program at UA. And my main goals are, to ensure that the team understands the mission and the vision of the university, and that the level of excellence that the university as a whole expects is expected of our dining program. So since I've been here so long, it's really grown over time. And I started off with about 5 or 6 locations on campus, and now we have 32. We have 6 unmanned markets. We've got 2 main residential dining halls, and then coffee shops and other retail locations.
How have you maintained communication not only with the university, your stakeholders within the university, but also with the campus community, being your students, and along with that, with your supplier? Of course, everyone's looking for that 100% transparency, and there's so much to communicate.
Well, it's a juggling act for sure. We sort of set the expectations early on through the RFP process, the contract, the execution of the contract, and then basically my everyday week is essentially communication with not only the highest level person up for Bama Dining, our supplier, but also managers, frontline associates. At UA, it's really a relational campus, and so communication is everything, and building trust and respect with the various constituencies. So within Bama Dining, I just have regular dialogue, regular meetings, regular communication in person, in the facilities. Safety and sanitation is the highest priority. So communication with our environmental health and safety, who's the liaison with the health department, very frequent and open communication. And again, I say it a lot, but building that trust and respect over time, and just trying to have the highest level of integrity to build that trust and respect. Then with the campus partners, we always say we're in the student success business and we happen to serve food. So we partner with orientation, with parent and family programs, with housing, with student life, to sort of develop these programs and enhance the student experience and really be that champion for the student and student success.
Speaking of student success, this is something we've been talking about even internally. It's not just about, who the students are, but there's just multiple generations of students now. And they're all into different modes of communication as well. So if you've got something going on campus, or so does a supplier, how have you managed across these multiple generations? Not only with students, but then again, you've got stakeholders as well.
So we have, different levels of communication. We try and keep our website up to date because parents look to the website quite often. So we've enhanced our abilities on our website utilizing a chatbot, to help really get that information to the parents that use that platform. For students, like TikTok and Instagram, for sure. And then the older students sometimes will call or come to the office. It's really quite a delight when, someone comes to the office to get some information. So that's fun too. But, we try and have layers of abilities to communicate. So we have a dining service development committee that meets monthly during the academic year to get feedback and hear what students want, what they like, what they don't like. And it's also an opportunity for us to communicate with them.
Your dining service development committee, is that like your food service committee?
Yes.
And do they have faculty and staff in there, or is it just mostly students?
We invite people who utilize the program frequently. For example, our Office of Student Account Services is really close to the Student Center. So I know they utilize their mobile ordering and they go to the locations there. And we've got fantastic Fridays that a lot of faculty and staff go to. So we try and get people who utilize our facilities, and then also people who, through their programs, like community affairs, they bring students to campus. So we will have faculty and staff. We lean very heavily on our resident advisors because they're in the facility so often, and they have access to so many students in their halls and in their. It seems like our resident advisors are like sort of just the go-getters. So they work through orientation. They work with students. So they're able to bring us some really great feedback.
One of the questions I've always had, and especially when we work through a lot of contracts, we've seen that transparency between the supplier and you is very, very important, because it is easy for you to communicate what the supplier is thinking, and the supplier understands what you are thinking as well. Especially when there are two different missions. The university has their own, supplier has their own, and to bring it together. So from your experience, Kristina, have you had an experience where transparency was either worked well or it did not? Or, and what do you do to keep that transparency between the supplier and you going?
When I started at UA, the person who held my position before me, the position had only been created 3 years prior. So when I came on, it was almost like developing, my own position description and developing a cadence and a rhythm with our supplier. Lots of times, just as you indicated, it's been rocky, but lots of times it's been really great. And again, I think that setting those expectations early in the contract and the RFP process is very helpful. And then carrying that throughout your experience. And the times that I've been the most successful is truly having the boots on the ground team that understands the mission and the vision of the university. They obviously have lots of responsibilities, but getting the boots on the ground team to understand the mission and the vision of the university and our expectations with timing, timeliness, and responsiveness is really important. And I am extremely structured in my approach. I have lots of lists that I keep. And I like to do things daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, semesterly, and then annually to sort of keep us on track. So that everyone is on the same page, because there, as you know, in dining services, there is a lot of moving parts and pieces.
To hear that you have lists and it's structured, I mean, that's a really good idea of how do you get. Typically, dining contracts are one of the largest contracts that any university has too. So, but that takes us to the next topic of auxiliary services. So, what are the 3 critical topics that within auxiliary services have you been hearing about? And then, and how do you think dining plays a role in the 3 topics that you've heard?
Customer service and the guest experience to us is the highest priority. And our commitment to our customers and to the timeliness and responsiveness that I've talked about is something we talk about a lot. Continuous quality improvement is very important to all of us. And so continuing to innovate and bring new ideas, new products and services, that's the second critical piece that we talk about. And then truly teamwork and dedication to the idea that we're all on the same team, right? And so dining feeds into that, or our part in all of those things is we really take on other people's problems as our own problems and work and do what's really necessary to to help our neighbor out, because we all are on one team. And we had a really revolutionary president at one time, and I mean, he would say something and I would just take in everything. But his vision was, and we grew from 18,000 students to 38,000 students under his leadership, was he said he wanted the University of Alabama to grow with balanced excellence. So he wanted academics to be top notch. He wanted, dining to be top notch. He wants our grounds to be top notch, the grass to look good and the flowers to be in place. So, so really guest experience, innovation, and then really that sense of collaboration and teamwork across campus are the top topics in auxiliary services here.
And then that goes through not only just with dining, it is throughout all of enterprise services. So then you all operate together.
Because we've got printing services, we've got a bookstore, Action Card, which is our Campus One card. So we all try and help each other. And, we're not in student life, but we are very connected with student life and work with those campus partners that don't happen to be in our enterprise area.
Are you the contract admin for all of that as well? Like
just dining.
Just dining. I mean, that's good enough.
Yeah, I am just dining.
So there's a lot that you're doing in terms of, making sure vision is happening, customer service, continuous improvement, teamwork. Questions. Do you have KPIs that, you do as part of your contract with your supplier or generally? And, and so how do you keep a track if you do have KPIs? How do you keep a track of them and how do you take action?
I read a book a long time ago, and I don't even remember what it was called, but it talks about the main thing. So it's making sure that your team understands the main thing. And to me, the main thing is, why are we here? We're here for the students and for student success. What do we do? Well, we do what it takes. When do we do it? All the time. How do we do it? Timely and responsibly. So our main thing also does include KPIs. And so the way that our campus is structured, and really my main priorities are boiled down to 3 essential things. So is everyone safe? Are the associates and the customers safe? Are they happy? Number 2. And number 3, are we providing financial stewardship for our resources? We're an auxiliary, so everything, we have to self-fund everything. So making sure that we are accountable financially. And then we have some tools that we use for each of those KPIs to track them. So is everybody safe? We have health inspections, we have quality audits, we have, an incident protocol, business continuity plan, those types of things that we track regularly. As far as customer service, we have multiple layers of ways to monitor that, whether it's through surveys, our dining service development committee meetings, one-on-one contact. I mean, there's so much value in just being out in the facilities and running into people. You learn so much. So that managing by walking around is a very important component. Just a few years ago, I think it was during COVID when we brought these in, but it's just an ambia where it's just like a happy face, a blank face, and a sad face. So people can just tap that in as they're leaving the facility. And it's so interesting what you can see and where you can identify, periods of time where, hey, why weren't they happy on Tuesday at 3:00? Well, this is what we're doing. So you can adjust. So there's multiple layers of things that we utilize for that customer experience piece. And then the financial stewardship, of course, you've got spreadsheets and talking about transparency, sharing that information, the suppliers' P&L every month with our P&L every month to see how everybody's performing and ensuring that we are good stewards of the resources that we have because of our dining program.
Sounds like you've got multiple programs to keep all this going. Do you have a place where it all comes together for you to make a big strategic decision? Or is it like, what depends on what it is and where you go where it's available? Hey, if there's one place, I'd love to know. So
Yes. Well, I think there's pods of places, right, for each different area. But we have a wonderful product that we utilize for our quality audits that we're really learning and deploying and hopefully seeing trends over time, really having some good data to make decisions based on those quality audits. And then we have a very antiquated system for our customer response. So we and again, we're utilizing that same technology to gather that information to hopefully then have some historical data that's tangible and that's accessible to get to in a central location.
But that's great for that communication piece and the collaboration piece. I mean, it's here and there, and that's everybody's view. And so we're also trying to find, like, is there a program out there that has everything together? That
would be so nice.
Do you have anything that you want to talk about that, new sources of revenue? I know some folks are getting into conferences and events and, and getting a little more into it now and making a big deal out of it and things like that, just to get into new resources.
We only do it every few years, but we allow our Dining Dollars program to go off campus. So it provides additional flexibility to our students to utilize their flexible spending dollars at off-campus locations. Being on campus is fine when you're going to class, but providing them alternate opportunities with local merchants, I mean, it promotes the town and gown situation. Plus, it provides additional revenue at new places that students like. Of course, there's requirements for that, but that's something we've done to allow those funds to go off campus.
Every 2 years? Okay.
Yeah, we started this. Of course, COVID was one of the things that spurred that on. Is as we were trying to socially distance on campus, we thought if we added additional locations off campus, that would give everyone an opportunity to kind of spread out and find something new and exciting that they wanted to, where they wanted to spend their money, but close to campus. It's usually about a mile circumference.
Have you seen more students using it off campus than on campus? Because that's an eternal fear.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
Definitely
not. One thing we did last year too that was really a game changer is we added to our all access meal plan that they can come and go as many times as they want from the 7 locations that we accept meal plans at. Plus, they get an additional retail swipe a day. So they could go to Raising Cane's or they could go to Panda Express or something and utilize their meal plan, their all access meal plan. And so I really believe that helped keep a higher number of students on that all access plan. That's obviously a higher price point. So that was a way that we learned a lot through that process, and our mobile ordering really went through the roof, and it was a great learning experience. It was something that the students had requested, something we could do and something we were willing to try, and it's worked out really well and really enhanced the value of the meal plan and increased our revenue share.
That's always a fear of, like, if I add too many meal exchanges, will that take away from my retail locations or not? But I think at the end of the day, for a student, it's more of like, hey, it's my money and I need flexibility. I want to eat when I want to eat, type of thing.
It's great for the students to come to us and tell us, we want this. And then we do it and say, here you go. And then that adds to that satisfaction with the overall dining program.
If someone wants to learn a little more about your dining program, can you guide us as to where they can learn a little more about it?
Anyone can go to bamadining.ua.edu at any time to find out any more information, or they can certainly contact me.
Well, thank you, Kristina. Have a great day, and see you soon.
Thank you so much. You have a great day.
And to all our viewers, thank you for tuning in today. Make sure you catch all our episodes and all the stories from our clients and friends.